Hey guys, welcome to Mark Jackson's Movie Reviews. I'm Mark Jackson, and today, Buffaloed, starring Zoey Deutch, is up, so stick around. So Buffaloed is a hilarious little movie starring Zoey Deutch that also makes itself very useful as a whistleblower on the state of America's debt collecting infestation. Now, you ask, why would that topic be funny? Remember Back to the Future's Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox? Remember his mom, Lorraine, played by Lea Thompson? Remember how funny she was? Well, it was only a matter of time before Lea Thompson's actual kid, Zoey Deutch, broke away from the Hollywood ingenue pack, and though she's got pretty modelly looks, guess what her acting power alley is? That's right, she is a comedienne par excellence, just like Mom. You know, it occurs to me this is the second movie review in a row where I talk about Marty McFly and Back to the Future. I assure you, this is not the full extent of my knowledge, my trove of movie references. I got references. You watch. Anyway, Hollywood hadn't really figured out what to do with Deutch up until her last movie, Zombieland, Double Tap, where she played this pink-clad ditz, running around, slightly unhinged, looking way too stupid to survive a zombie apocalypse, and yet she survived like a boss. And so it would appear that Zoey Deutch's archetype, which is the showbiz product that she sells best, and for which she will most likely henceforth be known as an annoying, squeaky-voiced, hyper-ambitious, scrappy, eternally optimistic and enthusiastic, cutthroat survivor, who somehow manages, on top of all that, to be extremely charming and watchable. Now that is some serious charisma. Deutch stars as Peg Dahl, a girl growing up poor in South Buffalo, New York, who's feeling the classic small-town claustrophobia of the mega-talented. She's weary of wearing her brother's hand-me-downs, and she's got enough ambition and entrepreneurial talent to eventually watch the city of Buffalo dwindle in her rearview mirror. The only problem is that her super shrewd head for business is connected to a heart that is seriously lacking a sense of right and wrong. Her mother, played by Judy Greer, later laments that she did the best job she could to raise her daughter with a sense of morality, but it didn't take. Anyway, from a young age, Peg is determined to study business at an Ivy League institution of higher learning and then take on Wall Street and become the next Warren Buffett. When that fateful day arrives that she's accepted to her school of choice and realizes she can't pay for it, she starts up a flurry of hustling. She's selling cigarettes in school, she's selling buffalo wings, she's selling counterfeit tickets to Buffalo Bills games. Then, one day, she gets a phone call from a debt collector. And this guy's not very good at his job. And so, with her business sense being like sort of a spidey sense or like x-ray vision, she realizes she could do this guy's job way better than he can. And similar to the real-life former wannabe lawyer Molly Bloom, who was played by Jessica Chastain in the movie Molly's Game, similar to her discovering her own blistering talent for running illegal poker games, Peg swan dives into one of America's biggest unregulated con games, debt collection. And like Bloom, Peg eventually goes to jail. But does she grow a conscience in the slammer? No, she does not. She gets shrewder. Now, one of the reasons the movie is set in Buffalo is because that particular seedy city happens to be a sort of ground zero for the debt collecting industry. So Peg learns the ropes of the collecting game from her new boss, who's a small-time debt collecting overlord named Wiz, played by Jai Courtney. And in the tradition of 1992's Glengarry Glen Ross, 1995's Casino, 2015's The Big Short, and 2019's The Laundromat, Peg takes us on an educational journey of how the money flows throughout the various con games and scams. See, I told you I had references. In this particular case, it's the cons specific to the debt collecting world. And as ever, your jaw will drop at what the con men vermin in our fine nation get up to in the absence of government oversight. When the cat's away. Also, like Molly Bloom, Peg eventually strikes out on her own, putting together her own talented crew of marginal types who share a pronounced talent for selling, namely a Jehovah's Witness type proselytizer, a phone sex worker of a certain age, and an Indian American using an Abu from The Simpsons Indian accent to promote the restaurant he works in. That is, until she recognizes him as having attended her high school, and then all of a sudden he's like, What are you talking about, my friend? Oh, snap, you're what's-his-name's older sister. So this naturally all leads to a showdown with former boss Wiz. And of course, we want to see her stick it to him. The problem is, we root for her because while she's bad, he's worse. Now, allow me a quick tangent here. We're getting a fair amount of this lately. Harley Quinn, for example, is a bad girl, but her adversary is so much worse, torturing women and children, that we want her to succeed in beating him to death with a baseball bat. See, this has got to be doing something bad to us down in our collective subconscious. Also, like Harley Quinn, Peg is so cute and pretty and peppy and energetic, we allow ourselves to get charmed to death. Like to the death, or maybe more like the major illness of our souls. I like to talk about how movies today are harming our souls. So the cast all seems to have nailed the Buffalo accent, and it's likely that the good people of Buffalo will enjoy all the local references, and one can assume that the research was thorough. One of the running gags is the local pride regarding that particular chicken dish for which Buffalo is known, the length and breadth of our great nation. There are two main competing establishments that apparently divide Buffaloans in terms of their wings proclivities. Hilariously, the presiding judge at Peg's hearing bequeaths unto her the ultimate Buffalo insider tip. He gets his wings from the one place, but his blue cheese dip from the other place. Because it's essentially a little sort of gangster tale, it's got some little gangster instances, like Peg flying into a rage and running across town after Wiz brandishing a gold-plated .44 Magnum. But generally speaking, this is an extremely satisfying American comedy. The interactions between Deutch, Judy Greer, and Jermaine Fowler are particularly enjoyable. Fowler plays a prosecutor who really should be looking to arrest Peg, but he can't help falling for Peg due to her spunky cuteness. As mentioned, Deutch is a comedic powerhouse. She fires on all comedy cylinders. She shifts gears and tactics like a Formula One race car driver. She's the driving force here, to continue the metaphor. The movie itself is well conceived, fun, funny, and very informative regarding the shadowy world of debt collecting. Buffalo, the title, describes two things. One, the story's setting, and two, bullying. Debt collectors buffalo Americans, not just in Buffalo, but as we well know, from coast to coast. You know, when I've heard about various friends' debt loads and imagined those bullying phone calls from debt collectors, I found myself feeling, fear and shame. Well, I'm here to tell you, anyone who's deep in debt, stop feeling fear and shame. Those self-righteous sounding debt-collecting jackals would sell their own children, and much of what's depicted in this movie is, or should be, illegal. Buffalo does a fine public service of shining a spotlight on this particular American human roach infestation. Go and laugh and be simultaneously informed about what the real deal is with the state of your student loan. So that's my review of Buffalo. It's rated R. The runtime is 1 hour and 35 minutes. It released on February 14th, 2020, and I'm giving it 3.5 stars out of 5. Have you seen Buffalo? Let me know what you thought by commenting below. If you like what you see, click right here for more. And if you'd like to read my reviews instead of watching them, Google Mark Jackson Epoch Times, that's EPOCH Times, or check me out on Rotten Tomatoes. Until next time.